What's going on, everyone? Sports back with another video, and in this video I'm going to be talking about Cam Reddish and whether or not the Toronto Raptors should trade for, or at least look to trade for, and kind of pursue Cam Reddish. The New York Knicks and Cam Reddish has been a small sample size, and the Knicks seem to already be kind of giving up on him. They have a lot going well for them right now. The New York Knicks do. They're playing pretty good basketball right now. They currently, in terms of the Eastern Conference standings, they currently sit in 7th, tied in 6th at 25 and 21. They have the same record as the Miami Heat. And, obviously they're right in that playoff to play in kind of area. And Cam Reddish hasn't been a huge part of their season at all. And I think it's a very interesting situation there because, of course, they traded for him last season. They got him from the Atlanta Hawks, who he was playing well with. I think he obviously got quite a bit of starting time in his first 2 years with the Hawks, and then he didn't get as much, starting time, but he still got some good role playing and bench minutes, definitely. His numbers with Atlanta, he was averaging 27, 29, and 23 and a half minutes per game there over the course of 2.5 seasons. His numbers were all in the double digits in terms of the scoring. He was a pretty good shooter, around 40% from the field and about 35% from three, 35% from three. And if the Raptors can get a guy who's 34 or so percent from three, that would be good. And I think he obviously hasn't been the same player with the Knicks, due in large part because he's not getting as many minutes. His numbers with the Knicks, looking at this season, he's played in 20 games. He's just started 8 of them, and he's averaging almost 22 minutes a night and 8.5 points per game on 45% shooting and 31% shooting from the three. 88% free throw shooter. So, there is a good aspect of his game, and when he does play, he at least gives you something. And I think it's very interesting for Cam Reddish because I think, he kind of fits what the Raptors want and what they do. He was a former first-round pick, 10th overall in 2019 with the Atlanta Hawks, of course. And he's a 6'8" small forward. He's 220 pounds. He fits that wingspan and height, 6'8", and defensive type of player. He fits that Raptors, kind of type of player. Now, of course, the only reason I'm even talking about Cam Reddish to the Raptors or even, possibility of him being traded is because there was a report that came out, around the New York Knicks that said their asking price is believed to be about a second-round pick for Cam Reddish. Now, should the Raptors trade a second-round pick for Cam Reddish? I think yes. I think he's still got lots of basketball left. He's 23 years of age. He won't be 24 until, training camp of next season, so he still does have some time to improve, and I've said this before for some certain players. Sometimes it's just a change of scenery that, is all players kind of need to, kind of turn up and change their kind of approach and kind of change their way of play. I think this could be one of those scenarios. If he moves to the Raptors and he fits in quickly, he might be a really good player. And he was drafted in the top 10 for a reason. He was really good coming out of college. He had a lot of good traits. He had a lot of upside. And that hasn't changed as much as he hasn't panned out necessarily as a 10 overall pick. He still, has those abilities, as much as he hasn't proven to show them. So it's very interesting. And I think the Raptors are in a tough spot, obviously. I mean, I'm going to have a video, soon on, what I think the Raptors should do at the deadline, what direction they should kind of go into. But it's tough to say, right now. I mean, and there's still time, right, till the deadline. There's 3 weeks. And if the Raptors turn things around, it could change everything. So it's interesting, but I think this team right now is in a tough spot, and it's similar to the position we were in back 2 years ago when we had the opportunity to draft Scotty Barnes, and it was kind of a bad year in Tampa, and, it was a 1-year retool. We made a couple tough trades, but they worked out for the year after, right? And I kind of view this season as 2 years ago, and I think that next year will be the same type of season as last year, but, that would be continued success, and not kind of a 1 year and then 1 year bad. I don't think the Raptors are that type of team. I think we're just hitting a bump in the road, where, we're losing a lot of close games. I think contract situations is kind of, up in the air too as well, and I think we just got to find ourselves kind of thing. And if we can and hit, 3-4 game stretch, 5 game stretch where we play some really good basketball and win some games, it could change the whole season. That's all this team really needs, a quick spark. Now, it's going to be super interesting to see what's going to happen. Here, this trade deadline, from now until then, it's going to be very interesting. There's no question. And, I'm looking forward to seeing what Masai and Bobby Webster have in store. I'm really excited, and I'm kind of nervous, to be honest with you. I think a lot of Raptor fans are. We have a lot of talent on this team, and, it's kind of nerve-wracking to know who's going to be here in 3 weeks and who's not. It's like 2 years ago. It's exactly like 2 years ago. Would Kyle be traded? He didn't end up being traded, right? Norm did get traded, and we got Gary Trent Jr., who's panned out for us. So it's very interesting, obviously, and I trust what this team does. Obviously, when moves are first made here in Toronto, us fans are quick to say, oh, that's a bad trade, right? Look at the Kawhi with the Mar trade. We were, kind of upset about it, at least I was, and, look how it panned out. We won a title with it, so patience is key with this Raptor team. The trades on the surface don't always look great, but as time goes, it really looks good, and I think that's something that we kind of just need to have with this team is patience, and, this team is still good enough to win. We won with the same team, and we probably had less if you want to go into the experience type of thing, but we had the same team last year, and we were a top 4 or 5 seed in the East. So for, the Raptors, I think it's just kind of getting, hitting the groove, and I think it's going to take time, and it might not even happen this year, but if it does, I think we could be a really good team. And I think, for me, I think just, trying to win is the most important thing, and just trying to sneak in the play-in, and you don't know what happens from there, right? No one wants to play the Raptors, a good defensive team, that battles every night. No one wants to play us. So, if you go out and win games, you never know what can happen. But Cam Reddish could be an interesting piece for the Raptors, and I think at a second-round pick, I would make the move. I think it makes sense. He's young, and we can develop him into the player that he was brought in the league to be. Much more than a second-round pick, I don't think I'd really do that, but, a second-round pick, maybe a 2024 second-round pick, because our second-round pick this year might be a little bit early. But, next year's second-round pick could be an interesting trade for the Raptors, and it's something definitely to explore. But you guys let me know down in the comment section your thoughts on Cam Reddish. Would you bring him in here to Toronto for a second-round pick? I would, but you guys let me know down in the comment section. Would you do it? Let me know all the good stuff down in the comment section. As always, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We'll see you guys all in the next video, and as always, let's go Raptors.